My video on the 10 hidden gems of the nitrogen era has been doing really great recently, and I have been getting many requests to do a video on the 10 hidden gems of Thomas's Big World era. To be frank, I don't find that idea to be very appealing because I'm not super familiar with the Boba era of Thomas. I have only watched a few episodes and I can find some good stuff, but I haven't watched enough of that era to warrant a video on it. Because my video of the nitrogen era did so well, it put me in a nitrogen Thomas mood, and to feed that mood, I make another video about it. Just like the Unlucky Tugs fact videos and my own Railway Series fact video, the goal of this one is to highlight one intriguing fact behind each of the episodes of Thomas's nitrogen era. Although, bear with me here because I struggled to find anything interesting about some of them. There are a couple of episodes that have something in terms of behind the scenes or real life inspiration, but there are a few that barely have anything worth noting. The Thomas Wiki didn't do a great job documenting the information. So with all that said, let's take a look at what these 80 episodes have in store. Season 13. This scene at the Steamworks where Victor says,
"You've come to the right place, my friend,"
was reused from the original US trailer for Hero of the Rails.
"You've come to the right place, my friend."
This scene didn't appear in the final movie itself. It was rendered specifically for its promotional trailer. A scene from this episode was used for a television advertisement of Google Home in Japan. There's one part where the announcer asks Google Home what the sound of a steam locomotive is, and a clip of Thomas is shown. In a 1990 episode of Bobby Davro's TV Weekly, there is a sketch of Thomas the Tank Engine and friends called Thomas the Tanked Up Engine, featuring a drunken Thomas.
"And a lot more's body," added Gordon. "Are you coming into the station, Thomas, to pick up some more jolly folk from the town?"
This parody uses the original Hornby models of the Thomas characters. One of them was a Hornby James, repainted pink and renamed Jeremy. This was the only instance of James being repainted pink, predating the TV series episode Tickled Pink. Bertie's CGI model wasn't completed during Season 13's production. Here he is missing the radiator behind his face, and his windows lack glazing. His model would be fully completed in the next season, with his windows and radiator re-added. According to descriptions for the wooden railway merchandising for the Splish Splash Splosh DVD, Percy was initially meant to have a role in this episode, but was dropped from the final version. This was carried over to the Slippy Sodor gift pack, where Percy's role was revealed in the description. Percy is excited to see the bubble show with his best friend Thomas. While attending the show, Percy is splashed with the very special bubble liquid and gets covered in bubbles. Thomas has stated that Cranky and Mavis have never made mistakes before.
"That's strange. Mavis never makes mistakes. That's strange. Cranky never makes mistakes."
But this is ironically untrue, as Cranky has made mishaps before in the episodes Cranky Bugs and No Sleep for Cranky, and Mavis has had her dilemma in her titular episode. And while Thomas wasn't there to witness the latter's mistake, he did witness the former. The song Alicia Botti sings throughout parts of the episode is the Carmen Suite No. 2, Habanera, by Romantic era composer Georges Bizet. The piglet being named after Thomas is taken from the mini-book Thomas and the Tiger, where one of the tiger cubs is named after Thomas. This would happen again later with a baby in season 19's Thomas the Babysitter, and a crocodile in season 22's Banjo and the Bushfire. The wooden railway pack Percy and the storybook car is based on Time for a Story, despite Percy not appearing in the actual episode. Unlike the previous example, there is no official hint that he was originally meant to appear. What is it with Percy popping up in toy packs centered around episodes that don't feature him? According to the magazine story based on this episode, Dowager Hatt's portrait was originally planned to be delivered to the museum. This plot point isn't present in the original episode, however. Toby's temporary whistle looks a lot like a Buckeye 3-chime whistle, but it has the sound of a Southern Railway Princeton step-top 3-chime. The 3-chime steam whistle sound is a stock sound effect recorded from Southern Railway number 4501, which is preserved at Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. The same whistle sound is also used as Hero's whistle, but in a lower pitch. This episode's title is possibly a parody of Jason Mraz's song, A Beautiful Mess. This episode's premise could have been inspired by the magazine story Thomas and the Kite, written by Andrew Brenner, which involves a plot of Thomas chasing after a boy's kite. This marks the 4th time an engine sneezes in the series, with the first being in season 1's Whistles and Sneezes, the second being in the film Thomas and the Magic Railroad, and the third being in season 6's Buffer Bother. This is also the second time Henry sneezes. Billy was written to appear in the first draft of the episode, but was cut and his role was replaced with Charlie in the final version. The 2009 Take-Along Muddy Adventure 4-pack includes Billy, though it is unknown if this has to do with the original version of the episode. Elizabeth was also included in the pack, despite her not appearing in it. This episode, as seen in the episode compilations on the official Thomas and Friends YouTube channel, is titled The Biggest Present of Them All. Mark Morahan, the narrator of season 17 to 21, was brought in to re-narrate this episode for the Santa's Little Engine DVD in 2013.
It was winter time on the island of Sodor. It had snowed all night.
This marks Snow Tracks as the only CGI series episode to have 3 different English narrations, and the only episode of season 13 to be narrated by Mark Morahan in the US. In the magazine story adaptation titled Twitcher Trouble, Henry has a relief man named Brian, who comes in to fill in for Henry's ill driver. This plot element isn't present in the original episode. Brian apparently knows all about wildlife and has a particular interest in birds. He knows all their names and their calls. This is the first of only 5 episodes of the CGI series prior to the Bwaba rebrand not to have Keith Wickham as part of the voice cast. The other episodes include The Switch, Not So Slow Coaches, Marion and the Dinosaurs, and Love Me Tender. Mr. Percival is referred to by his UK term, the Thin Controller, in the US dub.
I have to visit the Thin Controller. I must talk with him about the railways.
This is probably a goof in the US script, as this is the only time Mr. Percival is referred to as such in said dub. Season 14. The photo album at the end of the episode contains shots from past episodes. This shot is from Thomas and the Runaway Kite, this one is from Creaky Cranky, and this one is from the special Hero of the Rails. The headlamp given to James was one normally used on vintage cars of the early 1900s. The same lamp would later be used again in Season 17's The Phantom Express, albeit smaller, and it would also be reused for Bo as his tail lamp. The scene of the workman putting up a poster is stock footage reused from Slippy Sodor, with the poster of Mr. Bubbles' clown show edited into an advertisement of the football tournament. In early Nick Jr. airings in the UK and Ireland, the first few minutes of the episode until the scene where Edward and Charlie leave Maythwaite were overtaken by the song Thomas You're the Leader playing in the background. This mistake was later corrected in 2012. I can't find an archive of this airing anywhere, so here's a brief edit I made.
Charlie and Eddie. On the island of Sodor, all the engines are proud to work for the Fat Controller's railway. They chuff and puff and heave and haul their hardest to make sure the Fat Controller is proud. One morning, the Fat Controller's car had broken down. Edward was to take the car to Maron Station. The mechanic was waiting there to fix it.
In this close-up of Sir Topham Hatt talking to Toby at Knapford, note that Toby's number 7 is reflected in the window improperly here. It's supposed to be mirrored. Once you noticed it, you can't unnotice it. This shot of Thomas is stock footage from Thomas and the Pigs, but Thomas's expression is edited to smiling instead of being determined. The opening scene of Pop Goes Thomas also uses the same stock footage shot, but Thomas's expression is edited a bit differently again. There's literally 3 edited versions of this shot. In Misty Island Rescue and throughout all of Season 14, for whatever reason, Diesel gained a different horn sound like that of an American Nathan K3L type.
His firebox fizzed. Just then, Gordon heard a hoot.
It was also used for him in some games and merchandise.
I'm Diesel.
Diesel would regain his original horn sound in Day of the Diesels, while the American Diesel horn sound would later be reused for Mavis from Season 15 onwards.
It's Mavis!
The main theme heard throughout the episode is an instrumental version of the song Go Go Thomas. Take a listen. The 2011 magazine story adaptation has a few differences between it and the actual episode. For one, Thomas and Emily do not appear, and it is Gordon's funnel that is blocked instead of his cylinder valves. In the US dub, when the characters say American terminology, the mouth movements aren't animated to sync with their dialogue. When Gordon and Thomas say Sir Topham Hatt, their mouths move to say the Fat Controller instead.
I'm waiting for Sir Topham Hatt.
Sir Topham Hatt isn't proud.
Additionally, every time someone mentions the Railroad Inspector, their mouths move to say the Railway Inspector.
The Railroad Inspector is coming to Brendam Docks.
This marks the last time Gordon has crashed in the series until the season 24 episode special, World of Tomorrow. A whole 10 seasons later. Quite a long safety record this big guy had, huh? Almost every television guide in the UK refers to this episode as Thomas's Winter Wish, which may mean this was the episode's original UK title. In the episode, there is a tree without leaves behind the snowman. However, in a promotional image, the leafless tree is replaced with a Christmas tree instead. Some stock footage from season 13 episodes are used here. This zoom out shot of Cranky is reused from Creaky Cranky, but edited to make Cranky look grumpy, and the lighting on him is slightly darkened. In Misty Island Rescue, the logging locos were being cleaned and restored at the steamworks, and since then, they have always remained clean and spotless until their final appearances. However, in this episode, when the engines enter the tunnel on the return to Sodor, Bash and Dash are incorrectly shown in their pre-restoration conditions. Henry is heard saying, "Huh?" after Thomas calls him old and wise before asking him to help get Scruff out of his hiding place.
You're old and wise. Huh? Can you think of something to bring Scruff out of his hiding place?
I think I have a very good idea.
I don't know, but I find it kinda cute. This is only the case in the UK dub, as he doesn't say it in the US dub.
You're old and wise. Can you think of something to bring Scruff out of his hiding place? I think I have a very good idea.
Keith Wickham's voice for Whiff sounds very different unlike his other appearances. Throughout most of the CGI series, he gave Whiff a deep low voice.
I'll help! I'm very fast and my pistons are pumping to go!
Here he gave a high nasally tone of voice.
Thank you, Gordon. Right away, Gordon. Express coming through.
Why he changed his voice for this episode only, I have no idea. Part of Dowager Hatt's portrait from the episode Percy's Parcel is seen framed on Sir Topham Hatt's mantelpiece, along with a photograph of himself from the live-action Mr. Perkins segments, and one of his granddaughter Bridget. Like all the winter episodes this season, this episode was redubbed for the Merry Winter Wish UK DVD to replace the winter holidays term with Christmas holidays.
The winter holidays are a very special time on the island of Sodor. The Christmas holidays are a very special time on the island of Sodor.
Although redubbed to change that term, when Bash and Dash ask what a Christmas holiday party is, Bash's lips are still animated to say winter holiday.
What's a winter holiday party? What's a Christmas holiday party?
This does not occur for the rest of the episode, because all of the characters' lips are synced to the redubbed dialogue. The elf costumes in which Sir Topham Hatt's assistants wore at the end look similar to the one worn by Buddy Hobbs in the 2003 Village Roadshow Christmas film Elf. Season 15. When Gordon and Ferdinand hit the bump on the track while crossing the fenland, the bump sound effect used in seasons 4 to 12 can be heard, with the second sound high-pitched. Take a listen.
Gordon hit a bump in the track. The flathead jumped.
This episode marks as the 350th episode of the television series overall. An instrumental rendition of Ain't We Got Fun is reused from Season 8's Thomas and the Circus. Take a listen. This is also the last time this theme was ever used in an official episode of the series. In this shot, Stan Lee is seen heading onto the main line. The track he is on is clearly a bypass loop connected to the main track. But just after he goes off screen, James goes by on that same track. Given how this went down, Stanley would have ended up crashing into James. It is impossible to not notice this goof. This is the third episode where Edward is referred to by his nickname Eddie.
You're funny, Eddie!
The same happened in Steady Eddie and Charlie and Eddie.
I'm ready, Eddie!
The shot where the track collapses under Gordon and he falls into the mud reuses animation from Spencer's crash in Hero of the Rails. The only difference is that Gordon is not moving before he falls. Nick Jr. UK incorrectly misspells this episode as Happy Hero. The description used for ABC television airings and on ABC iView also refers to Hero as Hero. This episode shares its title with an episode from the Magic Adventures of Mumphy series. Mumphy is Britt Allcroft's other television series that aired alongside Thomas and Friends in the Storytime with Thomas airings in 1999. It also shares its title with an episode from fellow hit entertainment series Fireman Sam, as well as an unrelated story from the 1989 Fireman Sam annual. This is the last episode to make the claim that Henry still needs special coal. This would be retconned and acknowledged by Toby in King of the Railway, since Henry's rebuild in The Flying Kipper was stated to have fixed his need for special coal.
Don't tell me he needs special coal again.
No, Gordon. That was fixed years ago.
This episode's title is a reference to the song Let It Snow.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Composed by Jewel Stein and Sammy Cahn. When Henry passes Thomas, his train consists of a variety of interesting rolling stock. The first piece of rolling stock is a works unit coach without the name on the side. The second piece is a cream-colored utility van, which is the same one that Percy is pulling in Day of the Diesels. This episode features the first appearance of Callan Castle in the CGI series, since its last appearance in Season 11's Dirty Work, though it does first appear in the CGI recreation of the Island of Sodor opening segment. Some images in the noisy Thomas soundbook, which is based on this episode, feature Bertie without his radiator. The front cover, this image of Bertie on the Shake Shake Bridge, and this image of him being lifted up by Harold. Like a lot of these episode titles, the title of this episode is also a reference to a song, the song of the same name by Elvis Presley. The 2012 magazine story adaptation shows that Thomas would have had a larger role, meeting Toby and Belle at Farmer Trotter's farm. In the episode, Thomas's role is fairly minor, only appearing at the start to introduce Toby to Belle. There are some notable differences between the storyboards and the finished version of the episode. Most notably, the storyboards feature the narrator's line,
"One morning, the steamworks was very busy,"
across two scenes. The first is an establishing shot of the front exterior of the steamworks, with Thomas, Percy, and James outside. And the following shot shows the leftmost tracks inside the steamworks, with Victor and a backwards-facing engine drawn in. In the final episode, the narrator's line is set entirely during the establishing shot of the steamworks, from a rear right angle, showing multiple engines going by, before cutting to the next shot inside where Victor passes by Stanley. This horrendous episode has received mostly negative reception, with a rating of 2.6 out of 10 on IMDb. The episode's writer, Neil Benn, commented on a review of the episode by Scarlowy Railway 01 on YouTube, saying, "I don't know what to say. To find out after so many years that I wrote the worst episode of Thomas the Tank Engine. Finally, I've got recognized for something. Actually, it's a real shame. Like many things, the script I wrote looks very different to the episode that was made. And I've done some pretty good things in my career before and since. But, Mr. Engine Inspector, I promise never to use a cheap rhyme to make sure my scripts are all fine. When I write in future, I'll take my time and denounce all responsibility, saying, that script's not mine." The original storyboard drawings show that Bash and Dash may have been meant to appear in the episode, alongside a mountain village similar to the one in Season 3's Thomas and Percy's Christmas Adventure. A CGI recreation of a scene from Season 8's Don't Tell Thomas would also have been included. This marks the first appearance of Wellsworth Station in the CGI series, since Season 11's Percy and the Left Luggage. Technically, its first CGI appearance was in Day of the Diesels, but this is its first appearance in an episode. Okay, I'm not totally sure on this one. This is the only instance in the series where an engine has a blowback in their firebox. This is not directly stated, however, as Thomas's firebox is merely said to be on fire.
His firebox was on fire.
The inspiration might have been based on an incident in 1995, when the recently preserved Canadian Pacific 462 number 1278 suffered a blowback in its firebox as a result of insufficient water pressure. But I'm not sure if this is fact or not. The wiki was not much help. So take this with a grain of salt. Season 16. This episode was incorrectly titled Fiery Flynn in the end credits of the original UK airing. A very understandable mistake, since the two Flynn episodes were released back to back. Prior to this, Ari and Bert were both voiced by Carrie Shale in the UK and US dubs.
Hurry up with those valves. We don't have all day, you know.
Starting with this episode, William Hope took on Bert, and the two were voiced individually for the remainder of the series.
Where have you been?
Dad needs you to help him.
This episode's title, along with Oh the Indignity, are both derived from Gordon's key catchphrases in the CGI series.
Express coming through! Oh, the indignity!
This episode is the first in the CGI series in which Thomas appears without a speaking role, since Season 12's The Party Surprise. This marks as the first episode in which Martin Sherman and Ben Small do not voice Thomas in both US and UK dubs. Henry mentions his disliking of snow.
It's the snow. I don't like the snow. I slip, I slide, I slither. It makes my wheels wobble.
Which might be a possible callback to his previous incidents involving snow, in Season 1's The Flying Kipper and Season 2's The Deputation. The Great Railways book contains pictures of real-life engines. The front cover shows a Fowler diesel mechanical locomotive. One of the photographs shown is of an RR's Class 14A Bayer Garrett, and another is of City of Truro. Even though he cameos in this one photograph, This is City of Churro's final overall appearance in the series. A promotional image from the magazine story shows Thomas to be much dirtier after he crashes into the rubbish trucks. He is covered in garbage water, rubbish, and coal dust, whereas in the episode, he is only covered in garbage water. The texture of water, rubbish, and coal dust is actually taken from the episode Sodor's Surprise Day. In the US dub, the soundbite of Gordon exclaiming is taken from the episode Being Percy.
Gordon grumped.
Sorry, Gordon. I'm chasing crows for Farmer McCall.
The same soundbite is also mistakenly used in the UK dub.
Sorry, Gordon. I'm chasing crows for Farmer McCall.
According to this tweet from Sodor Island fansite, Derek was originally going to appear in this episode. Writer Sharon Miller confirmed that she wrote Derek into the episode with a non-speaking role. But during the animation process, the word Paxman, aka Derek's class, the Paxman Diesels, was mistaken for Paxton, the character in the script. So Paxton appears in the final version, and Derek was dropped. A major loss there. The music the Calliope plays is the classic Thomas and Friends theme, composed by Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell. The original composers both received credit for it. It was Greg Tiernan's idea to include the original melody, and thus this is the first time since season 7 in the UK in which the classic Thomas theme is played. Kudos to you, Greg Tiernan. You've brought in a beautiful homage to the golden years. The 5 Steam Team members that speak in this episode are all the only members of the original crew to make it into the newly formed Steam Team in the Boba era. What a wild coincidence, isn't it? As tradition for all the winter episodes in this era, the UK dub uses the term Christmas holidays, while the US dub uses winter holidays. However, a UK dub of this episode with the term winter holidays was uploaded on the Thomas and Friends YouTube channel. This is one of the weirdest animation errors I've ever seen. In this shot, just before Harold dodges from the fireworks, the left side of his face is missing. Again, just try to unnotice this. The Calliope from the episode Percy and the Calliope can be seen as part of the presents train that Thomas is pulling. The music cue that plays after James goes over the bumpy track sounds similar to the ending music of the 1990 Christmas comedy film Home Alone. Take a listen. This episode marks the first time Henry is seen pulling the flying kipper since season 5's Oliver's Find, not counting stock footage appearances in the season 7 episodes Peace and Quiet and Not So Hasty Puddings. As seen in Steamy Sodor, Spencer is actually too long to turn around on the Steamworks turntable, as he does here. The way this is accomplished is by focusing the camera on a 3/4 angle of his model, with his tender out of frame, as the turntable turns him around. Most British television listings give this episode a slight alternative title, The Christmas Express. When Peter Sam calls for Rheneas, he blows his whistle 4 times, giving out the correct whistle code for an emergency, which is a succession of short blasts. This episode reveals that young Topham Hatt used to ride in an open-topped carriage in the early years of Sodor. The open-topped carriage is based on the replicas of the third-class four-wheeled carriages used by the Liverpool and Manchester Railway in the 1830s. 2 of these replicas are owned by the National Railway Museum, both of which are used for demonstration runs with Stephenson's rocket. Later in the Brenner series, the open-topped carriage would saw use on the Estate Railway at Alfstead Castle, pulled by Stephen and Glyn. And there you have it, folks. That's one fact for every episode of the Nitrogen Thomas era. It's certainly been a wild ride doing research on these seasons. But looking back at this era of Thomas, I'm happy to know that the team working on this show, including Greg Tiernan and Sharon Miller, still had a level of respect for the franchise. No matter how gimmicky or unrealistic or nonsensical these episodes are, some plot elements are actually inspired by things in real life, or some early Thomas and Friends material. And the charming, quaint, storybook world vibe is still very alive here. They understood the show's identity and what it's all about, and never tried to reboot it and make it like any other generic kids show. And that's the greatest strength that lies in this era of simplicity. And that's something truly commendable.